Hello and welcome to Drama Recaps. Today we will delve into the 2006 period psychological thriller film named Perfume, the story of a murderer. Spoilers ahead. The movie starts with a man staring blankly. Sweat is on his forehead. His eyes seem empty and without emotion. Soon, the door opens. The man opens the rusted prison cell, and they take the criminal, pulling him by the chains around his neck. The prisoner, whose hands and feet are bound, struggles as he walks down a dim corridor. Angry screams are heard. They arrive at a room with waiting men, and as they see the criminal, they open a glass door to go outside. The crowd outside is angry. An announcer reads that the criminal, Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, will be crucified in 2 days. The crowd is happy with this. Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, played by Ben Whishaw, was born in a world full of strange smells. His mother gave birth to him under her fish cart in a messy market in Paris. She makes giving birth look simple, leaving him like trash. She thinks he will die. The place in 1738 Paris is terrible, with a bad smell everywhere, rotting fish, mud, maggots, and animal parts. But the smells wake up the newborn. They give him life. When he cries, people find out that his mother left him, and she is put to death. Jean-Baptiste has an excellent sense of smell that he uses instead of good sight or hearing. He is like this because he's blind. He grows up as an orphan, moving between homes and families because he's difficult to care for. Jean-Baptiste, unable to talk at 5 years old, uses his strong sense of smell to understand the world around him. Once, he even dodged a rotten apple thrown by a friend in the orphanage. Eventually, Jean-Baptiste leaves the orphanage when a tannery buys him for 7 francs. Even though his life is tough, he does well where others haven't. When he becomes old enough to carry skins around Paris, he finds a world of smells he never knew. He smells spices, horses, makeup powder, fresh fruit, and most of all, the scent of women's perfume. Nobody knows how good he is at smelling, but he can sense everything, like bad food and people coming near a house. While walking in Paris, Jean-Baptiste meets a beautiful red-haired girl with plums. He's surprised by her, but it's her smell that really draws him in. He follows her through a crowd and eventually meets her. She gives him a plum, but instead of eating it, he smells her hand. She's made uncomfortable by this and leaves, but he meets her again later on a dark street. He covers her mouth, not to hurt her, but because he likes how she smells. After she dies, he learns how quickly the smell, or soul, of a person disappears after death. Now he knows what he wants to do in life. He wants to keep the smells and beauty of things forever. Since his strange birth and lack of love, he's only ever depended on his sense of smell. He thinks he can capture and keep love and attraction through smell, using perfume. Dustin Hoffman plays Giuseppe Baldini, an old Italian perfume maker with a strong-smelling shop on the Pando Change Bridge. Jean-Baptiste comes into Baldini's shop as if he's worked there for years, carrying goat skins. Jean-Baptiste reveals his incredible talent for identifying scents, even through sealed bottles, despite not being able to read. Baldini, eager to take advantage of Jean-Baptiste's skill, promises to teach him the craft of perfuming in exchange for his unique ability to create complex scents on the spot. The audience is educated about perfuming through a musical analogy. Making a perfume involves 3 unique notes, each containing 4 distinct smells. A bright head note makes a fresh impression but fades fast, followed by a long-lasting heart note, and ending with a short-lasting bass note. Baldini also tells Jean-Baptiste that some believe a 13th scent is needed for a truly remarkable fragrance. He recounts a tale of an ancient Egyptian tomb with a heavenly scent made from 10,000 roses. While learning with Baldini, we are taken into the world of scents, watching the two work with their boiler-based methods and the intriguing liquids and mixtures they produce. Jean-Baptiste eventually realizes that he can't capture the essence of certain materials like copper, glass, or even a cat. He becomes frustrated and worried about his ability to capture a woman's smell. He becomes so obsessed that he develops psychosomatic smallpox, thinking his life's goal is now unachievable. He only recovers when Baldini explains a new method of fragrance making, the envelope method. After being scarred by smallpox, Jean-Baptiste leaves the city for the woods, taking refuge from the city's odors. He sells Baldini's 100 perfume recipes for a journeyman's paper that allows him to escape the city's stench. In a remote cave free from smells, he finds peace. There, he realizes that without a scent, he feels like he doesn't exist, he has no meaning. Determined to prove his existence and his unique talent, he makes a promise to himself. When he arrives in Cross, he doesn't initially plan to become a murderer. Instead, he works as an assistant in the local industries, perfecting a process to extract scent. He spreads animal fat on a person, wraps them in cloth, then squeezes the grease. He combines this with alcohol and evaporates it, leaving only the pure, extracted scent. Jean-Baptiste discovers a method called enforage that allows him to capture her smell in a perfume. He also finds out that the scent can attract a dog, which might confuse the local people. A series of killings take place in Cross as he builds his collection, causing panic among the population. Local tycoon Antoine Rix orders a curfew and manhunt to protect his daughter, Laura, but nothing stops Jean-Baptiste from finding 12 women to make his perfume. There's no sexual assault involved in the killings. The victims are found beaten to death, with their clothes torn off and hair shaved and squeezed for its essence. Despite Antoine's fears that his daughter might be the murderer's target, Jean-Baptiste finds the Rix family in hiding, and Laura's death provides him with the 13th and final ingredient for his scent. Shortly after completing the perfect perfume, he's captured. Jean-Baptiste's life has been surrounded by death, starting with his mother's crime of abandonment, followed by his orphanage mistress's murder and the accidental drowning of the chief tanning officer. When he has intentionally and unintentionally killed nearly 20 people, the audience might struggle to feel sympathy for him. The crowd's influence plays a significant role in shaping the public perception of Jean-Baptiste, acting as an unruly force. While he doesn't belong to this population, he deeply seeks their approval and wants to please them with his fragrances. Jean-Baptiste is brought to the plaza in a carriage, not chains, to appease the angry mob waiting at his sight. The scent he wears helps to soothe the violent crowd. As he approaches the platform, the executioner falls to his knees, struck by the aroma, declaring him innocent. Jean-Baptiste responds with a bow and a wave of a wet handkerchief over the crowd. The attending bishop exclaims that he's not a man but an angel. Even Ricus is taken aback by the crowd's cheers and tears, admiring Jean-Baptiste's apparent innocence. Suddenly, everyone is overcome with euphoria, undressing and becoming wholly lost in pleasure. The once furious mob changes into a sea of unrecognizable flesh, oblivious to its surroundings. Jean-Baptiste is consumed by thoughts of a plum girl and his realization that he will never be loved like others. The ecstatic crowd eventually awakens and leaves, never speaking of what occurred. Despite the potential to use his fragrance to control humanity and rule the world, Jean-Baptiste decides to return to where he was born, the fish market in Paris. Spraying his hair and neck with the last of his perfume, the local traders and buyers see an angel. They're driven to approach Jean-Baptiste and consume him, eating his flesh until nothing remains.